Hey everybody, this is Dental Unfiltered. Welcome back. I'm Matt Brown, and we have Dr. Alan Stern back on again. Alan, as you guys know, is great when it comes to mental health, physical health, and taking care of your most important tool, not your handpiece, but your body. Alan's in your mind, and Alan's a really good friend of mine. I get to see at all the events. All of us who are speakers, kind of like a traveling circus, as I always say. I get to see Alan probably more than my closest friends. And today we want to talk about a subject. You guys get pitched lots of events to go to. Me and Alan with the test, we go to a lot of these events, and some events are giant sales pitches one after another. Other events have actual really good substance and are worth the time. And there's one event that is my favorite event of the year that I look forward to all year long. And I think that I don't review a lot of events on here or mention many of them. And there was no sponsorship money spent on this, but I think this is one that people aren't overly aware of that I think is probably one of the highest quality, highest substance events. And it's Dental Nacho's Boost Camp. And it's quite literally it's the closest thing to summer camp for dentists. And Paul being such an original thinker, this event is unlike any event out there. You can take destination events where really you just get there and it's the same event as every other event. You can go to events where every other speaker is a sales pitch. Paul's is not that. You can't do any sales pitches. So me and Alan just returned from it. And the one thing I always am so impressed with is how organized it is and how every single room is always full of people for every speaker. There is no chance of you missing out on a good speaker, and there's no chance on a speaker first of all, you're going to meet every speaker. You're going to meet every single person there who's a subject matter expert. You are going to meet them and get to talk to them. And that is very unique. So Alan, we just had fun together in Philadelphia. Tell me, I think we've both been to Boost Camp almost every year, right? Yeah, every year we've been
where we met.
Yes, where we met. That is where we met. You're right. We met at Boost Camp. That's right, buddy. So, tell me, how excited do you get to go to Boost Camp every year?
It is a non-negotiable on my calendar. Actually, one time I missed it. I think I missed the first invitation that Paul sent to me because it was on my anniversary.
Oh, it's a good reason to miss it.
Yeah. But beyond that, I will not miss this thing. You know why? And you mentioned it. Number one, you're constantly learning. I've been an attendee, I've been a speaker, and this year I was a camp counselor to make sure people like you don't get out of line. And being a participant in this at whatever level that Paul asks me, I do without even thinking. Because number one, quality. The people who are there, I am proud to be associated with. And if I'm up there speaking with a Matt Brown, with a Todd Fleischman, with a D. Fisher, or any of the great people who've been on that stage, it just boosts everybody to see one quality speaker after another after another. Number two, the attendance is big enough so that there's a good variety and diversity of people, but small enough that everybody has a chance to interact. And from the vendors there, I can tell you also that the vendors who are line that Sip and Stroll Hall are high quality people who are really fiercely interested in helping you. It is not a matter of them jumping out of a booth and nailing you down while you're innocently roaming the halls of a big, big meeting. These are people there. Hey, here I am. Come on, let's talk. And Paul is so brilliant in paying attention to real detail, with encouraging people to stop at each table, with setting up dinners with people who are curated together because Paul knows who is attending these events. And it just when you think it can't get any better, year after year, it gets better and better. Paul is amazing.
It is. From a vendor point of view, dude, I think my vendor brother and sisters have a really narrow view when they look at events. I've had a lot of vendor buddies say, "Oh, well, Paul's event's small. It's the same people every year." I like that it's the same people every year. And people are like, "Oh, they already met you once." But they're at a different point in their career now. I have a doc I watched go from D4 to associate. He walked up to me at the event and he said to me, "Matt, it's time. I'm buying a practice." And I was like, "Cool, bro. What are we doing?" And it wasn't a conversation of you have to have my product. It was a conversation of tell me what we're doing. I genuinely wanted to know, where do you want to open? Are you doing a startup? Are you doing an acquisition? He's doing a startup. And then I was like, "Hey man, you want to get together and talk? Here's my link. Let's get together and talk." We talked actually recently on Zoom. And for me, it was watching his journey. And we have a relationship now because I saw him from D4 to associate to owner doc now, right? And it's like Mike Scruggs, Nathan Hacker, Thomas Ferry, Brandon. Like we know the campers because they're there every year, and the campers get really good lessons. And some of the lessons are this. I do the same lesson every year because my lesson, I think, is a lesson you need repeatedly about patient communication and sales and how to close treatment. I'm actually working on a modified lesson for next year, but also like Todd Fleischman talked about something different this year. You know, what I mean, it's always a little bit different, but like it's good, right? And like you said, it's very intentional. And you do get to meet everybody. And for the listeners that are on here, dental nachos, like you go to an event, right? Let's say me and you go to an event and we're at the end of the day and all of us speakers looking at each other and vendors and going, what are you doing for dinner? What are you doing for dinner? What are you doing for dinner? And then we're all trying to figure out where we're going for dinner together. Oh, well, Alan's already going with Mango. I'm going to go with Archie. Okay. Paul pre-sets up every dinner every night for every person.
That was the one detail he got from last year. That was his learning experience from last year that he puts together. God knows what he's going to do this year. And by the way, let me put this very succinctly, Matt. Repetition is not redundancy. If you hear something 3 times, if you hear Matt Brown speaking or me speaking or Laura Brenna speaking, you're going to hear something different each and every time. And we learn by repetition. The first time a dentist does a crown prep, he or she doesn't master it that first time. You got to keep repeating and repeating and learning and learning.
And I think too, as a vendor, if you're a vendor or a speaker, so first of all, there's some speakers I think do themselves a disservice. They come in, they speak for that hour and they leave. There's a couple people who come in for the day and leave and speak. I think they do themselves a disservice because you end up missing out on a lot of stuff that I think is very valuable. There's a lot of connection making outside of the docs that happens at that event. And one thing I do like about Paul is I was actually talking last year to Evan. What's Evan's last name? He does marketing. Yeah, Evan Mosk. Me and Evan are buddies, and we were talking in the hallway. I was on the way to the bathroom, and Paul walks up like a high school hall monitor. He goes, "Hey guys, where should the 2 of you be?" And I was like, "In the rooms listening." He goes, "Get in the rooms." And we got in the rooms. Listen, first of all, I paid a lot of money to be there, and Paul had no problem bullying me around and making me go where I needed to go. Now, some people get upset by that. I thank Paul for it because I went into a talk and I learned something, right? I think as vendors, because he forces you into the talks, as vendors also, you get a chance to to grow your dental IQ. And I think as speakers too, we get to learn about other subjects. Like it's camp for us as much as it's camp for the campers.
Yeah, we learn, we share together. I learn just as much as I give when I go to these things. And the really cool thing about Paul, I call Paul a juggernaut of goodness. Paul has grown into something, and yes, it is his business, but it is a business of giving.
Paul gives a ton.
He gives a lot more than he gets. He gives a ton. And if he gets 3/4 of a ton, he's happy. And that's the way life is. That's the way life should be, Matt.
Paul is a community builder. And I say very proudly that I say this. Paul's heard me say it if Paul's listening. I love being a nacho in the pile of nachos. And every nacho is a little different. One nacho might have cheese on it. One nacho might have cheese and meat. One nacho might just have guacamole on it. But I love being one of the flavors of nachos on the pile of nachos because Paul gives people the nachos. You get the appetizer for free. And then if you want the entree, you get the entree. And Paul does give the nachos for free all the time. I think it's a mistake not to be in the Facebook group. I think one thing where Paul's been really good, I think some people like get annoyed by it, and I think that's short-sighted, is a lot of the Facebook groups end up being these places where people attack each other. And Paul won't tolerate it. And one thing I will tell you for sure, when you see Paul comment and say this has to stop, I think some people believe it's a staff member doing it. No, Paul is active. That's Paul. Paul is Paul. Paul doesn't let anyone else be Paul, but Paul, right?
In fact, I have even spotted things on the Facebook page, and I've direct messaged Paul, and I've texted him. I said, you might want to look at this.
I've gotten in trouble with Paul, and Paul's come back to me and say, "Yo, bro." Like me and Paul, so be transparent. Me and Paul Goodman are contrasting personalities, all right? And I love Paul Goodman and Lindsay and Morgan and all of them to death and Andrew. Culturally, we're very different. In the very beginning of our relationship, I got a little bit of trouble with him, which I'm really proud of because he changed. He impacted me in a positive way. And I've gotten in trouble with Paul. Like, "Hey, Matt, come on, that comment." And I was like, "All right, I'll take it down." But where it is good, though, is somebody in a Facebook group will put up a picture of a crown. And half the comments are negative. Well, that doc doesn't feel good now. Paul helps nobody. Kicking someone when they're down doesn't help anybody, especially when they're asking for help. And I think that culture of nachos, I think the best parts of that culture live in Dental Boost Camp. Like if you took all the parts of nachos and put them together, the best of it is Dental Boost Camp. Like it's 4 days long, right? It was 4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. For 4 days, you live in dental nachos bliss, and it's called Dental Boost Camp. And it really is, I think it's a collection of the most positive people out of the group, or the 60 most positive
And curious.
and curious, the ones that want to know. And listen, I'm going to say this, okay? Me and you go to a lot of events, right? Most of those events, when we talk to them, at some point in time, they try to get us to give away tickets to fill the event, right? So they don't get repeat attendees. All the years we've been on the boost camp, has Paul ever come to us and say, hey, can you help me out with attendees? Never. No, he's never needed to fill it. He's always full already. Nathan Hacker's going to be back next year. You know what I mean? Like, Thomas Ferry's going to be back next year, right? Like, there were 60 docs there this year. 40 of them were there from last year.
You know what my goal is, Matt? My goal, I'm just coming off a back injury. I'm back to 100%, and I'm going to get my planks even tougher. I want to have Nathan Ideas sit on my back again like he did a couple of years ago when I do a plank.
Oh, okay.
We
Nathan's
have that kind
guy,
of fun.
bro.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
big guy.
No, Nathan's the little guy. Nathan is
the little one. Okay.
not Nate Hacker. Nathan.
I'm thinking about Nate Hacker.
Nathan,
okay.
no. Nate Hacker. No. He ain't doing that to me.
Okay.
But let me
sit on your back.
No.
I'm a big dude.
I do not have a death wish.
Yeah.
But one other thing I want to mention that we've kind of glanced over, Mary Goodman. Paul's got a great team. Alan is number 18. No one gets there alone. Mary Goodman is the perfect complement to Paul. She adds a dimension of kindness and creativity even beyond Paul's seemingly infinite kindness and creativity. Mary is just such a wonderful human being. And I'll tell you a story. This is a very vulnerable story. 2 boost camps ago, I was getting ready to speak. And I got a phone call, and I will tell you offline what that phone call was. But it was a severe emotional challenge for me. It was somebody getting in my face and stomping me. Mary knew the circumstance. I pulled Mary out of the room, and Mary is old enough to be my daughter. And Mary actually talked me off the ledge. I aired it out to Mary. She helped me process it. And I got back on that. I got on that stage like nothing ever happened. Mary Goodman is a juggernaut of kindness, just the way Paul is. And those two are a team like no other. Power, kindness, brilliance, all wrapped up.
The other thing too is this, like, it's just, he is so focused on the person, right? So you have Mary, you have Andrew, you have Lindsay, you have Morgan, you got this whole team, right? But then, like 2 weeks before, we're put on these group chats with people. Like think about that. So the event's 2 weeks away, right? I get a group, because the dinners, I love the dinners tonight. Last year, I took my team, my little campers, I took them to dinner. Then I took them to get cheesesteaks, and I took them to Nate Bargatze, the comedy special. And thank you, Mike from Studio 88 last year for getting me those tickets. That was nice of you guys to hook up a competitor with tickets for
Another, a colleague.
Mike's colleague. Mike's a great guy. I love
great
Mike.
person.
Yeah, and
Great
then
person,
Ted
great
was there from SMC. I love Ted. If you want high quality vendors to talk to that are good people, that is the event. But we get this group chat 2 weeks ahead of time with dentists and fellow colleagues in it, and they make the dinner reservations for you. Like, I know I'm paying for it, but I didn't have to organize people. I didn't have to organize the dinner reservation. Paul's a foodie in Philadelphia. Paul knows the best restaurants near that hotel. They're almost all within walking distance. And then Paul picks them. And you end up at the event at table 1, and at table 2 is your other counterparts. And you end up walking around the city with them. You end up hooking up and hanging out and doing stuff, right? There is no event in dental that is more personal, that I know of, that is more personally connected, where the organizer is focused on people, no matter what, making connections.
Let me interrupt you right there, sir. I got dibs on dinner with you at the next boost camp.
Listen, so this year, I don't know if this, I thought I was told this. This year, I had requests to go to my dinner. Nathan Hacker, a bunch of people requested to be in my group this year. I think they said this was the first time they had somebody actually request somebody. Go ahead. I would love to have you at dinner. And the other thing, too, is like me and you were just talking about Aaron Nicholas, right? Great educator. If you want to learn about endo and extractions, Monday Morning Dentistry, I think is the name of his company. Aaron's a great educator. Me and Aaron got to sit next to each other at dinner at a Greek restaurant with a bunch of great docs. And there was, I think, 6 docs at the table. 6 docs got to sit with me and Aaron. So you had like a business marketing guy, and then right next to him you had a clinical, instruction guy. You got to have dinner with two. I mean, I think I'm a bigger personality now in dentistry with the like #1 podcast in dentistry last year. Like you got to sit and hang out with the two of us, and you could ask us whatever you wanted. You could talk about our personal lives. You could talk about him, him do what he likes to do, what I like to do, or you could talk to us about business stuff. Like, how expensive would that be with like another high level coach to get an hour?
Yeah, it's all about connectedness, and everybody wins there, and everybody has fun there.
Yeah, everyone does. It's such a fun event. It's so fun.
By the way, I'm not going to request it. Remember, I live in Florida now, but I'm a Jersey guy. I'm going to demand it.
We are both from Jersey, and
Yeah,
we both have the Jersey side.
it.
Yeah,
We'll shake them down.
And it's funny because like both being from Jersey, like there's a high Jewish population in Jersey, right? And my mom's side has some Jewish descent, and like it's funny, like Jewish people from New Jersey are very funny, and their personalities are very big. And I think people that haven't encountered that before are like, oh, like if you're from like the South and you don't have a lot of exposure to Jewish people and you meet a Jewish person from New Jersey, it's like, oh, this is not what I thought. And I think the funniest people on this planet are Jewish. Robin Williams, like, start going through it. Like the best comedians on earth are Jewish, right? There's something I asked you to do before the last podcast that's pretty funny.
Oh, no,
I'm not going to bring it up, but you are when you. I know you don't do it.
Oh, we don't play that.
I know you don't, but when we spend private time together, I look forward to that thing. Okay, I'm not going to say what it is, but I look forward to it. But yeah, it's a great event. I think you'll agree with this before we sign off, that if you can get into it, that's the key. If you can get a ticket, it is a must go to. Like if you're spending money on going to events, this should be #1 on your list. And I think you're like me. I'm at events almost 2 weeks a month. I don't do a review. I do a review of Len Tal's event, but they're the only 2 events I do reviews of. And we were at Len Tal's event last year together.
I spoke at Len's event last year.
Yeah, so did I last year, and I'm speaking at it again this year. The only 2 events I do reviews of are Len Tal's and his. Right after I do them, Dental Boost Camp is my favorite though of the year. Len's gonna be like, why is my favorite?
Sorry, Len.
Yeah, sorry, Len. I love Len though. I mean, me and Len talk watches. Len's a great guy. His wife is awesome. I love that event. I wouldn't miss it. Dental Boost Camp for me personally and my enjoyment, it is probably the dental event that I enjoy the most. And hold on, one other thing. How great is the gift bag they put in our room?
Oh yeah. I don't have that charger with me, that phone charger. I don't go anywhere without it.
I have 3 of them, and my wife is always like, did you get another Dental Nachos phone charger? I'm like, I did. She's like, I'm taking it. We love it. But like the gift bag he gives to speakers and sponsors has like tasty cakes in it. It has nachos in it. Like there's nothing Paul doesn't do awesome. Like even when you get there, your card for your hotel room has nachos on it.
Yes.
Like if you're getting the card customized for the hotel room, how awesome is everything else?
The man knows his details.
The man's a legend. Like I'm not kissing his butt either. Okay, me and Paul have had like our differences a little bit that are very creative and constructive, right? And we're very different. But the guy is a legend. He's top 3 personalities in dentistry right now. I think it's him, maybe Glenn Vo and Mark Costas are probably the three most popular people right now. I don't know, but Paul's up there. I mean, Paul's got to be top 5.
What about me?
Alan, you're awesome, but you don't have a face. Listen, I'll be honest. You don't have a Facebook group of 60,000 people. Listen, I don't think I'm in the top 10, just so you know. And I have a pretty popular podcast. I think these guys, these giant Facebook groups have so much influence, right?
I'm a dentist, Matt. I'm sinking. I'm the comparison trap is killing me now. Oh my goodness. I'm nothing.
Sorry. You're not nothing.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in another podcast because that's very important.
When I talk about dental books, I believe this is exactly what I say, Alan, and people will tell you this. I say most dental books are complete shit except for Alan Stern's. I also say this. I say my book is going to be the greatest book ever written in dentistry next to Alan Stern's, because your book is probably one of the only books that's not trying to sell you anything.
It's my story. I'm selling you your future. I'm selling you the mindset that is necessary.
And I think that culture that we have and that Paul has is a very healthy, awesome culture of give, invest, make the best, and everything will work out. And Paul's event is, even though you have to pay to get there because someone has to pay the cost, you are getting way more than your ticket value.
Understatement of the year.
Yes. So we're going to wrap it up here. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today with Alan Stern, our review of Dental Boost Camp. It's a must to attend if you can get a ticket, because he only has 60 people there.
Hurry up.
Yeah, I would go request a ticket now, to be honest. Thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, share, follow. Please leave a review. The Dental Unfiltered book is out. Dental Unfiltered's Guide to Being a Badass Practice Owner. We're going to start putting some way to get it in the descriptions here soon. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful day.